Hey, what's up, guys? We are actually here for our first live stream on this channel. I'm actually really excited for this. Give me just a second to finish getting all set up here. I think we're good to start. So basically, how this is gonna work. You guys can go ahead and leave some suggestions in the chat for fantasy football players. Basically, saying who of the two players you'd rather draft in a fantasy draft. You can also specify whether it is a PPR league or if it's just a standard league. But either way, just let me know what your suggestions are, and we can go ahead and jump into it. So, I'm gonna start off with one of the big ones. Lately, it has been, do you want Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley with the number one overall pick? Me, I'm gonna go with Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian McCaffrey is definitely the better fantasy player. Um, he was injured last season, but so was Saquon Barkley, and Barkley was also injured the year before that as well. And I think McCaffrey is more likely to be healthy this year than Saquon is, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I would definitely take McCaffrey over Saquon Barkley with the number one overall pick. Um, let's see. Another question would be: would you rather take Nick Chubb or Derrick Henry? I would personally take Derrick Henry. I think Nick Chubb would probably get more receptions, like in a PPR league. But I mean, Derrick Henry, he really gets enough touchdowns to make up for that. I mean, he could still, I bet, get 30 to 40 receptions. So I think that's still gonna be a solid season, in all honesty. But yeah, between Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry, I would definitely take Derrick Henry right there. So, next question. Would you guys rather have DeAndre Hopkins or Devonte Adams in a PPR league? I think for me, this one totally depends on the Green Bay situation. If it is Aaron Rodgers at quarterback for Green Bay, then I'm taking Devonte Adams 100%. But if he does leave Green Bay, I think I'm gonna go DeAndre Hopkins here. I think I think in a situation that Aaron Rodgers is gone, I think DeAndre Hopkins would honestly perform better than Devonte Adams. I think he's overall more talented than Devonte Adams. Um, Now I don't want to get my words skewed here. Like, Devonte Adams is still, one of, if not the best wide receiver in the league. He's definitely up there, but I think in terms of just pure talent, I think I would have to go DeAndre Hopkins. I think DeAndre Hopkins is the more, pure talented receiver between them. Sorry, guys, we're not many people are coming in yet, so give me just a second. Yeah, we're not really getting anybody in here right now, so. Another question that I have that I would think of is David Montgomery or Ezekiel Elliott. I know at first glance you'd say Ezekiel Elliott. Of course, that's easy. But David Montgomery has actually gotten quite a bit better over the over last season, and I could see him taking a big leap forward this year, especially with Justin Fields at the helm. I could see I could see David Montgomery getting more receptions this year as well. I think his production is really gonna jump. I wouldn't have him as a first round running back in any draft, but I'd have him as probably a solid running back two. Or if you are in a draft that you decide to take, Hopkins or Devontae Adams first round, David Montgomery wouldn't be a bad running back one. But it totally depends on how the rest of the draft kind of plays out there, for sure. Sorry, guys. A lot of these questions are kind of hard because we don't really have anybody in here, so I'm just kind of trying to, make do with what we have. Um. Okay. So I want to ask you guys, in a PPR league, do you guys personally value running backs more or wide receivers? For me, that's pretty easy. I value running backs more. I feel like if you can get a good running back that can get a lot of receptions, it's gonna be a good PPR league for you. Like Christian McCaffrey in 2019, he had 116 receptions. The year before that, he had, I want to say, like 105 or something like that, along with all of his touchdowns that he gets. Like, if you can get a running back there that can get a lot of receptions, it's going to be a good fantasy year for you. Um, so yeah, I would definitely value running backs higher than wide receivers for sure. I think a pretty honestly, I think a pretty underrated running back for fantasy this year. And I know he's kind of one of the dark horse running backs every year, but Austin Eckler. I think Austin Eckler with another year with Justin Herbert and a new coach, Eckler could be in for a big season. I've seen a lot of videos this offseason of him training, and that combined with how he's done the last few years, I think he could be in for a really big fantasy football season. I really do. I think it's going to be a really good season for Austin Eckler. I see we have three people in here now. Do any of you guys have any fantasy football would you rather suggestions? Because yeah, I want this to be kind of more of a game where you can get the community involved. See what types of questions you guys can come up with. Um, I guess on a kind of side topic, what do you guys think is going to happen with the Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson situations? I think with Aaron Rodgers, I personally don't see him in Green Bay this year. I really don't. I think I think Aaron Rodgers. I don't know where he's gonna go. Again, we've heard a lot of talk about about going to Denver. I don't think that's going to be the spot. I don't think he's going to go to Denver. I personally, and I mean, okay, I don't think he'll be going to an NFC team either, if possible. I think they'd really like to trade him to an AFC team if they have to let go of him. Maybe Broncos would make the most sense, actually. I mean, I've thought about this a little bit. Maybe. Now, I don't even know if they have the capital for it. Maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers. I could I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers trading for Aaron Rodgers to get one more really good season, really aim for the Super Bowl before they um before they have to rebuild. Cuz let's be honest, with Ben Roethlisberger, they're not going to go to the Super Bowl again. Um I think they could be a dark horse team to get Aaron Rodgers. I really do. I really do. Um, but yeah, Broncos would make sense. I earlier was almost thinking the Saints. I think the Saints would be just an absolutely dominant team if they got Aaron Rodgers. But I don't really think that's going to happen, mostly because like I was mentioning earlier, I don't think the Packers are going to try to trade him to an NFC team. I really don't. I don't see them sending him to a team in that same conference. So, especially one like the Saints that are already such a competitive team anyways. I just don't see them landing a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I could, however, possibly see them land Deshaun Watson. That would be a really, really interesting situation if they could land Deshaun Watson. I personally think Deshaun, if he plays this year at all, I also think that is going to be either the Broncos or the Eagles. We've heard a lot of talk recently about him going to the Eagles, and I don't think it's far fetched at all. I really don't. I could very well see him going to the Eagles. Um, I don't think that would be very cool to do to Jalen Hurts, though. I think Jalen Hurts very well could be the future of of the Eagles. I really do. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, where do you guys think Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson will land? Cuz I'm going to be honest, if the legal situation for Deshaun Watson does work out, I personally would love to see him get traded, and I would be taking him in my fantasy leagues. I think he's as talented as any quarterback in the league. I think he's okay, maybe not quite as like physically talented as Patrick Mahomes, but other than that, he's talented as any other quarterback in the league. Like you put him on a solid roster, yeah, he's gonna lead you to the playoffs again. And I firmly believe that. So yeah, like I was saying, I think the Eagles make sense. I don't think they should with the Jalen Hurts situation. I don't think that'd be cool to do to him. Um, yeah, I could see the Broncos though, honestly. And I actually heard this a while back. I heard the Panthers were still monitoring the Deshaun Watson situation very closely, and that they would still aggressively pursue him if if his legal situation gets worked out. That's going to be really interesting. Um, I personally want Sam Darnold to finally get a real shot and see how he does. But like, if the Panthers were to get Deshaun Watson, I mean, that could be a really scary team. In all honesty, I mean, if they do, I could possibly see them winning the NFC South. And this is coming from someone who is extremely high on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I could very well see something like that happen. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see for sure. For sure. But yeah, do any of you guys have any would you rather fantasy football suggestions? Cuz I would definitely love to hear them. And sorry guys, I'm just figuring something out right now. All right. Sorry about that. But yeah, I think the Philadelphia Eagles situation with the quarterback is really, I don't think their quarterback situation is really quite as bad as people think. Like, I've seen so many people say that they're not even confident in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts isn't what's wrong with that roster. Or all that team in general, to be honest. I personally don't think that what's his name? The new Eagles head coach. I can never remember his name for some reason. Um, Eagles head coach. Nick Sirianni. I was wanting to say Nick Casario for some reason, but that was the new GM for the Texans. But no, Nick Sirianni. Watching that interview, like, it wasn't quite as bad, obviously, but it really gave me Adam Gase vibes. I NK. You can't really predict many coaches to come in and be Adam Gase type of bad. And I don't think he's going to be that bad, but I don't think he's going to come in and, be the reason Eagles win any games. Um I mean, that being said though, like, yeah, there are things I like on that Eagles roster. Like I said, Jalen Hurts, he's not the problem. I think if they build around him correctly, they have a franchise quarterback. He's got some solid accuracy. He's got some really good mobility. Like, he's got some real physical tools. Like, he's extremely talented. But the thing is, he doesn't have the pieces around him. I mean, like I said, they really messed up in the head coach situation. I really believe that. Um, I thought it was smart of them to get Devonte Smith. I personally thought they should have waited though. They could have honestly just sat back and um, possibly even traded back for another receiver. I I mean, I was really high on Elijah Moore as well as Kadarius Toney. Terrace Marshall, I was pretty high on too. I know he had kind of some injury concerns, and that's why he fell in the draft quite a bit. But like, there were some really solid like end of the first round to early second round wide receivers there. If the Eagles would have just sat back and taken someone like, heck, if they would have taken Rashawn Slater and then sat back and got in, or even in the second, if they would have figured out how to trade ahead of the Jets, they could have taken Elijah Moore. Like, they had some real opportunities to build that roster more. And yeah, Devontae Smith wasn't a bad pickup. I'm not saying that by any means. Okay, I think he's going to be good with the Eagles. But for their current situation, I think they could have sat back a little bit and, been in a better situation. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about with the Eagles. I mean, their defense is getting older as well. I mean, Fletcher Cox now is, what is he, like 34, 35 years old, something like that. I mean, Darius Slay, he's starting to get a little bit older as well. I mean, he's not. I mean, okay, I think Darius Slay still has a few good years left in the tank, but I think he's definitely gonna be on, the back end of his career, coming up. So, I don't know. Like, the Eagles, in my opinion, they need to do basically what the Dolphins did, except for get rid of Jalen Hurts. Like, I don't think they need a quarterback replacement. But, like, completely clean house. Like, the Dolphins got rid of, like, everybody and completely rebuilt that roster, and they went from being the laughing stock of the NFL to being a real playoff contender in like a year. Like, if you want a an idea of how to rebuild in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins gave you a perfect blueprint right there. Give you a perfect blueprint. So, yeah, they really could have. Sorry, and I mean they. I'm talking the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, yeah, they could have rebuilt, and honestly, with all of the madness that was going on this off season, they could honestly be in a good situation with their roster. I mean, like, there were a lot of trades that happened this off season. But that being said, I don't hate the Eagles. I don't think they're gonna be like a top 5 drafting team next year. Like, I don't think they're gonna be, you know, one of the teams that's competing for number 1 overall pick or anything like that. I just don't really see them being, a strong competing team like they had been before last year. They had, over the last few years, been really good, except for last year, and they, I think a lot went wrong. And I don't know. I'm not sure anybody truly. Okay, let me rephrase that. I think I think the Eagles won the Carson Wentz situation because I don't think Carson Wentz is really going to get back to what he was. Um, I mean, you watched a lot of his tape from 2020, even when he wasn't under pressure. Even when he did have wide open receivers, he was not making the throws that he's expected to. He was not playing, you know, like a good quarterback. Like his first couple years in the league, he played really well. And, obviously led the Eagles to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Or was it three? Was it 3 years in a row? Because, yeah, it was 2017, 18, and 19, right? I think those are the only years. Like, he's extremely, like, he was extremely talented, but I'm just not sure he's ever going to get back to that point. Like, watching him last year, he looked completely broken. Like, he didn't look like that same Carson Wentz we had seen, all his career. So, yeah, I'm just not quite sure what to think. I'm not quite sure what to think with it all. But yeah, I think the Eagles will need to really really rebuild pretty soon. And to be honest, I'm not sure why they didn't really do much of a rebuild this offseason. I mean, like I said, this was a good offseason to do so. I mean, they got up a lot of draft capital and trading back to the number 12 spot or something like that. Like they very well could have, excuse me. They very well could have taken advantage of that draft capital and completely rebuilt that team. Again, much like the Dolphins, much like the Panthers. Like, I don't know. Speaking of the Dolphins, though, what do you guys think about the Xavier Howard situation? Um, I'm not sure if I would predict Xavier Howard to be traded. I've heard he's considering sitting out if he doesn't get traded. I'm personally not sure I believe that, though. It could just be a situation that, he's threatening to sit out, and, as soon as training camp actually comes, he'll show up. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure with the Xavier Howard situation. Um, he's been really mentoring a lot of other corners in the league, though. Like I know J.C. Horn was working with him. The guy from the Falcons, I want to say it was Isaiah Oliver, actually. He was working with Xavier Howard. Um, I know there were a lot of other really good corners that were working with him this offseason. Like he's mentoring a lot of other guys right now, and it's honestly really good to see. Um, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. And yeah, sorry guys, we're just trying to find other football stuff to really talk about. Um, because we don't really have anybody else in here. Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about football content without anybody in chat and you know nobody really being here to suggest stuff. Um, let me ask the chat this thing too. If you guys could have one player in the NFL on your team, who would it be? If you could have any player in the NFL added to your team, who would it be? I know a lot of people would probably be saying, like Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Donald or, you know, maybe even Jalen Ramsey. I I would probably go Patrick Mahomes in all honesty. Aaron Donald would probably be a number 2 for me. But yeah, there's some really good players all around that you could honestly, you know, have added to your team. But yeah, well, guys, we're not really getting anybody, really hanging out right now. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and end the stream. Um, I might actually be live again on Sunday. I'm not quite sure yet. I've got a big video coming tomorrow, so definitely look out for that. But yeah, I might be going live again Sunday, so make sure to tune into that. Thanks for watching. Make sure to smash that like button, and I'll see you next time. Later.